First
Yo,
hit.
yo.
It's private call right now.
Uh, I'm doing my sets of flies, my incline flies.
Nice.
Hit 245 for my top set of 10 on supinated pen lays.
Oh, awesome. I thought you were going to say supinated bench. I was like, what?
Dude, I wish. But I did them no belt. My core actually felt real good.
Awesome.
245 feels light after picking up 585 yesterday.
I did the 150-pound dumbbell for six on the bench
Oh, that's insane.
for
That's real
rows.
weight.
Yeah, it was good. That's the most my gym has. I've never really like used them for anything before, but
Right.
I'm making it real about it. But I was like, yeah, it's my wife wearing a weight vest. I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh,
cool. I'm like, that's a good six times. Get over here.
right. Exactly. Well, it's like I was doing the 80s and 85s for the incline bench. And I was like, oh, this is almost my wife with her kid, with the kid inside.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's like you start to quantize or with the hip thrust, I'm like, this is 2.2 Lizzos.
Right. Lizzo's exactly.
Well, a pre-Ozempic Lizzo.
Right. Now she's like half what she used to be.
Yeah, but it was funny. She was like, "You're beautiful at any size, but I really want to lose 200 pounds
Right.
or 100
I,
pounds."
I just don't get people.
Yeah, it's
I saw a thing on Snapchat. This guy went, he was relatively in shape, the host or whatever, and he hired two personal trainers to compare and contrast. And one was this big old chick that put him through a workout. And he asked her at the end, he's like, how do you feel about, and by big, I mean Lizzo big, not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jack big. And at the end, he's like, how do you feel about people that say a personal trainer should look like a personal trainer? And she's like, well, physical fitness is more than just the physical, like your mental and emotional and how you feel about yourself. Then he went and hired another dude that was no me or you, but looked like a personal trainer.
Yeah, yeah. What up, Michaela?
And was like, did a workout, so it was one of the hardest workouts he'd ever been through. And then put the two of them at a table and said, argue, go. And it was the funniest thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, like I always said, like if you're like an old retired like Russian gymnastics coach and you're like fat and you smoke cigarettes, but you're teaching like gymnastics, like that's fine. Listen to that guy. He's done it. He's, like, but if you're like young and you're overweight and you're like a personal trainer, like you're just bad for
Yeah.
business. You're not gonna make money, unless that's your niche, is like people that are slightly less fat than you and then
Right.
or whatever, slightly more fat than. Don't know, don't
Yeah.
care. What's up, everybody? So far, there's not a single client that's not mine. Very cool.
That's not mine.
I love it.
Uh,
Another one.
wait, is
What
Another
audio?
up,
one.
Mike?
Another one. Yeah, we're gonna officially start in like 3 minutes, and I'm not letting anybody else in. No, I'm kidding.
Sure. Get keeping.
What's up, Antonio?
Not much, man. Driving home.
Oh yeah,
How's it going with you? How's the baby?
baby's good. He's on a tear the past 2 days. Just pretty upset about life, but other than that, you know,
He's upset at how good he got it right now.
yeah, he's like, I want the temperature adjusted 1 degree now.
Shoot, he can only see like 1 feet in front of him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is the shape that like wrestles me. I like this one. Anybody have any funny stories or things while we wait 2 more minutes?
Let me see if I got something. Oh yeah, I got one. I got one.
All
So
right.
I was on call today. They evacuated a bus. Give me a second. Sorry, my wife was calling. So they evacuated a bus today because they thought there was a bomb in the bus. So we show up, we do our protocol, we turn off the radios and stuff. And when we go look at the device, it ended up being the alarm from a purse from when you shoplift
Oh,
that like
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the freaking anti-theft system. So yeah, I was like, man, you guys got everybody out the bus for this bullshit. So yeah, pretty much that.
I have a funny story in high school. This was me in high school. we had a lockdown. We thought there was a school shooter, like, and no one told us anything otherwise, right? Ended up being some student's brother with an airsoft gun, just like roaming the premises for no reason, like an older brother. Dumb. But we're in chemistry, and ironically, the teacher was a Phoenix Suns cheerleader. She's like, everybody get in the back corner of the classroom, and I'm like, looking at angles. I'm like, well, technically, if I had a rifle and I was going to shoot into this classroom, that would be the corner where I would be at the perfect angle. So I'm like, so I'm just like, I'm not going. And she's like, what do you mean, Michael? I'm like, I'm not going. I'm like, if there's a shooter, we're all dead. We're in the worst corner. I'm like, I'm taking one of those 15-pound ring stands and I'm standing by the door. And if that guy comes in, I'm going to split his head open with the ring stand. I'm like, I'm not going to the corner. And the quarterback was like dumber, older quarterback at the time. He's like, yeah, I'm staying with Mike. And the teacher's like, okay, all right. And so she took all the other kids to the corner of the room, and then me and the quarterback were there with ring stands, ready to kill the guy when he comes in the room. And then we found out like 2 hours later, no problem. But you know, panicked teacher, right? Panicked teacher. Everyone get into the fatal funnel.
Yes, that's how they train, just to fucking bunker down and stay put.
No way.
There's
No
other
way.
kids that be like, fuck this, they'll break the window and jump out.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that because it was like like if you have like a donut, like our only window like faced the inside of the donut. So you'd have just been like in the court, like, courtyard, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. But all right, let's get started. Amazing. Nobody likes me. That's not my client. Cool. Uh, every one of you guys are my clients. But yeah, I won't keep you too long, but we're gonna talk some training philosophy and some mindset. I'm gonna start off first. I have on my list here of things I want to talk about. Objective goals. So, I mean, obviously, like, my goal for life is to get in better shape, to get better cardio, to be healthier, like nonstop. Yes, but like that can't be your only goal. You have to chase some sort of number or some sort of quantitative goal, whether that's lose 10 pounds, fit in a size four pants, whatever, like chasing some sort of number. So I'm pretty sure everybody here has some sort of goal like that, like, oh, John, Guts, if you see him in the like, he deficit deadlifted 585 yesterday, conventional, at 178 pounds body weight. His goal is 600 right now. We're just chasing that, you know what I mean? And then from 600, you change it to 615, then you can keep pushing the goalpost, I guess you'd say. But that's the biggest problem that I see with a lot of like people that are trying to. I want to be in better shape. Like, I can get you in better shape in 3 days. Are you done? Like, you quitting the gym now? Or are you absolutely like, you made it? You hit the holy grail? And then also, like, you're never really done. That's why I think you should always have goals and always trying to push for the next goal. Because if you just stop, if you look at the human body as a car and you're like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do this weekend? I'm gonna wax it. I'm gonna wash, wax it, do detail it, do the whole nine, right? You're like, I've done it. My car is detailed. No, you're gonna use it. It's gonna get shitty again, and you're gonna have to detail it again. You don't just ever hit this like cove or this paradise of training where you hit your goals and you're done. If you don't maintain, there's no such thing as maintenance. If you don't keep going, you're gonna go down or you're gonna go up. There's no other way. There's no such thing as maintenance. It's slow decline. So, does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
You?
Anybody have anything to add?
That moment.
Megan, you're up.
Okay, sorry. I feel like my parents using Zoom right now.
Yeah, yeah. What button do I press?
Yeah, don't know. Um, I I agree with you. So I was just doing some reflecting as to what my goals would be. Something along the lines of like something I could build on. Like once I reach a certain goal, what can I build on from there?
Body weight bench. If you're a
Oh
female.
gosh. Holy smokes. Yeah, I just did that today.
Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then you get body weight bench, then you chase 1.1, 1.2x, you know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah.
something like that. Oh, we
All
got
right.
another coach. We have an outsider.
Oh, okay. I'm signing off. I'm pressing the mute button.
All right, sounds good. Josh, what's going on? Everybody's Coach Josh. He's a great dude. Josh, yeah, I won't. We're talking about goal setting. Hey, you need something objective, right? So we were saying that you can't have something just like I want to be in better shape. You have to chase something. And so these numbers, everyone's like, I don't care about how much I bench. I'm like, you should, because even if you don't care about the bench, if your bench is not going up, your upper body's probably not getting stronger, or your upper push strength is not getting stronger. So you should always be trying to climb something. And then, so yeah, anybody else have anything to add before I move on?
Nope.
Sweet. All right. Objective goals. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is training, types of training, right? So one type of training would be called linear periodization. This is probably what most people have been doing their entire life. Like, oh, you did 10 push-ups this week, next week you go for 11, right? And you're always just trying to like do the thing to get better at the thing. It's good in the beginning. It works for a couple years until it doesn't, right? So everyone, all the young kids will talk shit and be like, "Oh, the I do linear periodization works perfectly." I'm like, "Yeah, you're 17. You can do whatever you want right now. You're going to get results. When it all works until it stops working. And when it stops working, you got to change things up." So that's linear periodization. Is like, very subtle changes, just trying to add a couple pounds to the lift and do that forever. But I'll prove that linear periodization is bullshit in 1 second, right? Has anyone on the planet ever bench pressed 2,000 pounds? No. Why? Can't you just add 5 pounds every week? Right? Why is nobody lifting houses right now? You can't. There is something there's a chink in the armor. There's some weakness that you have to address. So that's why the way that we program, with a lot of, especially like law enforcement and SWAT and all these guys, right, is something we would call concurrent or conjugate periodization, right? But let's go back a little bit. So that's linear periodization. Then you have block periodization. Block periodization, some power lifters will do it. It's like, hey, I need to get more muscle mass. So then what do? They stop lifting heavy and they do a hypertrophy phase. So they will focus on just building pure muscle, right? What happens? The intensity goes down because they're doing higher reps and less heavy weight, and they get weaker. So they put on more muscle, but they lose that like neurological like stimulus, that like CNS, like 1 rep max, veins popping out of your neck type of exercise. So they get a detraining effect that way, right? And then they're like, oh, you know what? I got enough muscle mass. Now let me go back to my strength stuff. Then they go back to the strength, and then they lose some muscle mass, right? So the best thing to do would be to do all of it at once, which is what we do, which is concurrent periodization. With that being said, you can't hit every exercise every day. So with the things that we do is we have like seasons, or like I call them like leans. Like, hey, your cardio is dog shit. We're gonna lean a little bit more towards cardio because you're strong, you're mobile, but your weakest link right now is endurance. So we're going to do more endurance stuff. Or if you're training for a race or something. But the problem with linear and block periodization is like, let's just say you're a SWAT guy, right? And you're like, oh, no cardio for the next 6 weeks because I'm focusing on whatever, maximum strength or something. And you get in a fight and you get no cardio. Dangerous, right? So that's when people say the term like tactical athlete, it's like a jack of all trades. We try to get you guys good at everything all the time. Like if you could stay at 90% all year around, and then if you were doing something special, like a jiu-jitsu tournament or a powerlifting meet, then you just ramp up that 10% for that specific task that you're trying to complete. All right, does that make sense? Does that clear things up? Did anybody ever like know that there's different ways of periodization?
Okay.
I'm either doing a terrible or a good job, but no one's saying anything.
You're doing good.
Thank you, Antonio. Confirmed. Oh, nice. Can you confirm conjugate is the bomb? And so like there's different levels of it too, right? So John used to power lift, right? He's been with me for like 6 months. He is full blown like West Side barbell type conjugate now, doing extreme shit. It's not for everybody, right? There's different ways to do it. So instead of him, he works up to 1 rep maxes a lot. You do the same concept with like an 8 rep max, a 6 rep max, a 5 rep max. But we like for example, like Antonio, you're new with me, right? And he's got a bodybuilding background. We're doing a little bit more volume, and we're getting him used to the heavier loads. Because if he hasn't gotten close to a 1 rep max load in ages, and then I just throw him a 1 rep max and he tweaks his knee or hurts himself, and he's out for 3 months, it's stupid, right? So we gotta, you gotta do one thing at a time. And that's one more thing I want to talk about. The perfect plan isn't the perfect plan for everybody. So like if you ever see everyone's like, dude, I'm doing Arnold's plan, like these high school kids will be like, I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, I'm gonna do his plan. I'm like, you're not doing his plan because his plan has changed over the past, or let's just say he's in his prime, right? over the past 20 years. He started out powerlifting. He was lifting crazy heavy weights with barbells and all this stuff. What he's doing in his advanced stage isn't the same thing that he did to build his base. So a lot of these guys now are switching to low volume. They're like, I don't need it. And I'm like, yeah, you used high volume to build the base, and now that you've like reached the Holy Land, you're like training softer now. So don't get caught in that trap. Like, oh, I want to look like that guy, so I'm going to do that guy's program. I'm like,
Guys,
oh, did you live the last 30 years that guy's done? He was a farmer. He was whatever. He's a wrestling background. That's why his neck is built. Like, you didn't do that, so you should try to, like do your own thing essentially. All right. What's next? Anybody have any questions before I continue?
Nope.
Sweet. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about, all these things get me fired up because I'm obsessed with this stuff, and some people aren't, but they talk more than I do about it. Anyway, specificity, right? So specificity is like, you'll see this a lot, like on Instagram, these buzzword like videos, like sports specific training. This is a great exercise for baseball players, right? Like no one else would benefit from it, or like a tennis player wouldn't benefit from it, right? Be weary of exercises that are too similar to your sport. So you don't need to be taking a barbell in your arms and like swinging a barbell, at the slowest velocity possible to be better at swinging a baseball bat, right? You can do things like the training you should be doing in the gym should be mostly general physical preparedness, or GPP, which are things that are going to increase the quality of the system. Like, I can squat more weight, I can hinge better, my back is in better shape, I am overall stronger. I used to only output 300 pounds on this exercise.
nah,
I can output 600, right? That, when you increase those general physical qualities and you also are good at your sport, like you train your sport, it will translate directly. You don't need to be doing these very specific things. And what we see a lot with military and police is like, how many of you guys, probably a lot, have had to do a 1.5 mile run and some sort of push-up test, right? Okay.
Yeah.
In theory, if you sucked at running, how many 1.5 mile tests do you want to do before you get good at it? Like, if you're slow and you run like a 18-minute mile and a half, is it fun, or do you think it's a smart way of training to just keep doing mile and a halves?
No.
Right? What you're doing is you're losing all the time. You're mentally losing, right? Because if your goal is 12:30, right, and you're like, oh, I'm still at like 17 minutes, right? Because you're too specific for the task. You're doing the same thing over and over again. What would be a better option would be like training sprints, uphill sprints, stairmasters, pulling sleds, right? Doing things that aren't exactly the same thing as the 1.5 mile run to get better at the 1.5 mile run, right? If you put 100 pounds in your squat, you can produce more force through your legs, and now each step you take in your mile and a half gets you a foot farther than it did before. You're going to get faster, right? So there's that's what if you ever heard the term like training specificity, right? A lot of people are too concerned that what they do in the gym is like doesn't exactly match what they're doing. And I'll give you another story. I have a client, Alethea, right? She is a naval officer now, but she was like 2 years ago, she was like trying to become a naval officer. She had to get push-ups. She couldn't do one push-up when we started, right? We barely did push-ups. Barely did push-ups. It did all the exercises that build the muscles of the push-up and build like harder variations of push-ups, right? Like dead stops, like ring push-ups, like things that are like honestly a lot of tape presses and front raises and things like that, right? She went from 0 to 72 push-ups in around 6 months, right? 72 as a female is ridiculous. And they had to tell her to stop or she would have done more because like the max for the Navy score is like 40. And now if you ask anybody, it's like, oh, she probably doing hundreds of push-ups. I'm not kidding. I think in the entire 6 months, maybe I had her do like 200 push-ups in total. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe 300, right? But by being a little bit more general focus and focusing on weaknesses, we were able to achieve that goal, right? So this is, I see this all the time, like, hey man, I got to do push-ups. I haven't seen any in the plan. Am I going to be good? I'm like, yeah, you're doing things way harder than push-ups. Push-ups will be easy, you know? Anybody have any examples of like specificity or like any examples where something random that you thought didn't translate worked out
I
really
do.
well?
Look, when I was in the military, I got a, can you hear me?
Yeah, yep.
When I was in the military as a PTL, I got 100% on all my PT tests. And I think it was like A mile and a half, I think I ran in like 9:12. I'm not a runner, by the way.
Yep.
And then my push-ups were like, I don't know, but I max out on everything every time.
Mhm.
Sit-ups, I kind of just inherently sucked at, but I never did push-ups, sit-ups, and run at all. Like I'd run a month out, maybe, like just so I had the mechanics down.
Yep.
But I did jujitsu. I went and did like a little bit of MMA, so I knew I had like good zone 4 or 5, like VO2 max cardio. I did the rower. I don't know why. Like it just somebody was like the rower's good, so I did that. And then I had a really strong chest. I had like a really high 1 rep max bench. So when I did a push up, it was like nothing to my chest. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And yes, there's the endurance aspect, but like, you're trying to do them as fast as possible. So there's also a little bit of technique of like you're not doing these slow isometric. I mean, you're kind of almost dropping, pushing, dropping, pushing. So like one of the best
Explosive
ways to
power.
do it, yeah, like Mike said, it's just explosive power. And I was doing like this is before I knew how to lift. So I was just doing 4x8 generally, and I'd hit like once in a while hit 1 rep max, but that's what I did from football and wrestling. So I was really strong. I mean, I was like 165 pounds, like a 335 bench, right? So I had a really strong chest. Um, but like, yeah, I mean, I didn't even do the things. Now, I did kind of understand at a lower level what you were talking about. And so I did train a lot of like, I mean, I trained like a bodybuilder-ish back then, more than I do now, but I crushed my chest. I mean, I did flat, incline, decline, flies, triceps. So I had like a really good built thing. So yeah, going and doing push-ups was like nothing.
Yep. I just like a couple months ago, I set the all-time academy record for max push-ups in 60 seconds, and I hadn't done a single push-up for since the previous test, which was like 8 months before that in the academy. And I was like, "Wait, there's a record?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got 101 in 60 seconds, right? No push-ups, just doing things harder than push-ups." And if you guys ever wanted to, I did an experiment on clients in person one time. If you ever wanted to like put numbers into your head, because I'm all about ratios and comparing things. If you were to put your hands like in a diamond grip push-up position on the scale, right? It'll be roughly, I've did this on like a dozen people, anywhere from 66 to like 72% of your body weight, right? So you can translate that to the bench too. So if you're like absolutely terrible at push-ups, or like go onto the bench and see if you can do 66% of your body weight, because that's 1 rep on a push-up. So just if you were trying to equate 1 to 1. But yeah, so we were talking about specificity, right? You don't have to be very specific. And this is, you'll see, I cycle out a lot of exercises with people. So if somebody that wants their squat to get better, we're not always doing the barbell back squat over and over again, right? Because again, something can break eventually, right? They're doing the same thing over and over again. So you can get a stronger squat from going up on your hip thrust, going up on single leg work, right? Like Bulgarian split squats, reverse lunges, walking lunges, right? Anything that's going to generally get the legs stronger is going to make your squat get better, right? Or same thing like with the bench press or any sort of like pull up motions, like you got stronger arms, it's going to help. It's even though it's a chest exercise, right? Like big arms, big bench. All right, another thing I want
I
to talk
think a
about.
lot. I think a lot of that stuff, Mike, kind of equates to fire and police. I will tell you,
Yep.
as a lieutenant on a fire department, the problem is that yes, doing back squats, is it going to get me stronger? Yes, but is it always going to be a back squat that I'm doing while on the job? No, there may be a Zerker curl in it. There may be, fore and after carry. There may be. You're going to use those same muscles, but in a different version. So by
Yep.
attacking them not by the specific, exercise or the specific way to get better at just back squats, by hitting all of those accessory muscles and everything else, you're going to actually gain more strength and you'll be stronger by doing back squat without even doing it.
Yeah, and because you're more versatile too, right? Like if everything you do is
Right.
bilateral with like both hips flexing at the same time, and then you're like, you know what? I'm not even touching back squats. I'm just gonna work on unilateral stuff for like a long time. And you're like, I'm gonna get my reverse lunge up by 100 pounds, and you do that. Now you're split hips, right? Totally different, concept, but it makes bilateral stuff easier. What was another thing I was going to say regarding specific? Okay, I'm sure you guys heard the term like farmer strength, right? Like, oh, that guy, he's just got like farmer strength or whatever, or he's like functionally strong or whatever. Like, that's just high GPP, right? So someone could never step a day in the gym their entire life, right? And I'll give you an example. You take like a manual laborer, right? Some dude that's working with a hammer his entire life. And if I had to like have a grip contest, I'd probably pick like 10 manual labor guys over 10 like gym bodybuilders, because their stuff that they're doing is like it's they're not in the gym, but they're doing so much grip stuff that they have like very high GPP. Or you'll have a farmer that like bends over all day, right, picking stuff up, hinging, doing the hinge pattern over and over and over again with like bales of hay or throwing things, right, and then he steps onto the into the gym on day one and pulls 405 on a deadlift, right? If specificity was a super important concern, that would never happen. It would be impossible, right? So why would changing one subtle variation of a lift, like a rack pull versus a deadlift, like just the height, same exercise, just changing the height, why would something so close to that lift not translate? If like something so general as like picking up bales of hay would translate to a deadlift, right? So that's the something that I try to get out of people's heads is like, hey, like I know you got to work on push-ups. I know you have the mile and a half run, but you're doing things close to that, but not the exact thing for a reason. And then we'll also talk about like a winning mindset, right? If every day, well, I'll talk. Ryan will know about this, but like the Bulgarian weightlifters in like the Soviet era, right, like communist era, their system was daily maxes. So squat, what was it, clean and jerk, and snatch, right? Every day they had to max out on those lifts 3 times a day. Now, if you snatch 335 on Monday, right, and then like you're like, wow, 10-pound PR, and then Tuesday you only get like 295 because you're fatigued and you feel like shit, what does that do to your mindset? Right? You are losing now. Now you don't know if you're making progress or not. You just went down in weight because you're fatigued from you do the same thing every day, right? So it is so mentally taxing to be losing in the gym all the time. Oh, tried my raw bench again, didn't go up. Yeah, no shit. You've been doing the same exercise every week for the past decade, right? So to be constantly changing things, you're also hitting new PRs every week. Oh, you never did the exercise before? Cool. You hit a new PR. So you're winning, right? So that's another thing. Like if you can win every week and you just know you're like another 10-pound, guaranteed 10-pound PR incoming because I haven't done Zercher box squats to a 16-inch box in 6 months, right? Oh, 50-pound PR, even better, right? You're just stacking on wins and wins and wins. So this is how we get people that like, oh, my only goal is to pass the police test, right? Okay, cool. They pass the police test. They're like, oh my God, I've barely scratched the surface. There's so much more to fitness and strength and being in shape. I'm not stopping. And then do we have clients for 3, 4 years? So this is like what I want you guys to get in your head. Like, it doesn't end. It never ends. I'm not at my goals. I'm not like sitting on the like the throne, like, oh, I've reached strength success. I'm better than all of you. Like, no, I'm in the same boat as you guys. I just coach myself. That's the difference. I'm Coach Mike is telling athlete Mike what to do. I don't just do things because I enjoy it, right? I do things because I need it. Um, all right, somebody else talk. Who's got questions or
Yeah,
stories?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you something. The Bulgarian system works really well with steroids too. And
Yeah.
that's why the best thing about conjugate and why I love conjugate method is because, dude, you're changing things up all the time. And you could do tape presses one phase and then a couple phases later doing tape press, but instead of doing 15, you're doing 100 without stopping. And it's just like, dude, that's like I thrive off. I think a lot of us do. Like we don't like doing the same monotonous thing every week. And that's why people like to do like CrossFit and stuff because it's something different. Conjugate's the same thing. It's just structured better.
Yeah, it's not randomized. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing today, coach? Like, like, oh, I just made up this shit the last second because I got here late and I threw this random workout on the board and you're gonna run around the building and then you're gonna like attempt to deadlift like a 5 rep max while you're fatigued and then do a bunch of butterfly pull-ups and snatch with no shoulder mobility because we've never worked on it. It's randomized like chaos essentially. But
Well, I think if
you
I
can go
can,
for it.
yeah, I mean, coming from a powerlifting background and I was kind of my own coach for a long time, I was always taught if you want to get good at bench, go bench. If you want to deadlift, go deadlift. So I was a little worried to start conjugate, but when I was competing, when I was at the top, I was happy to get a 5 or 10 pound increase on my competition max in a year. I mean, I've added almost 50 pounds in 6 months to my deadlift doing, just, I don't want to say random shit because they're all smartly programmed, but if you just look at it, it looks like random shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good, I mean, this is why it's important. And I'm not trying to like scare you guys to go do it on your own. That is the ultimate goal. But like, this is why a lot of the industry thinks like oh, like just follow a program or just like, a lot of these, like, I mean, we are not the only first responder fitness company, as y'all are very aware, right? And a lot of them, it, I want to preface this, like, there's not really a wrong and a right way. There's just not as efficient and a better way, right? Like you can go train however you want to go train, but like, what is your ultimate goal? I think is a really good thing. And again, like I'm trying to get you guys to look at the bigger picture. A lot of you, I mean, I know we have clients in their 50s and their 60s, and even those people still have 10 plus 20 years of lifting, hopefully ahead of them, maybe at a different pace. But a lot of y'all are in your 30s and 40s or 20s, even. We got some 20-year-olds. You have like a whole life freaking career of lifting. Like it ain't going to stop outside this program. So are you just going to hop from like cookie cutter to cookie cutter for 10 years after you leave? Is that what you're going to do? Like, you know what I mean? That's why people fall off the wagon because it's not that fun. And I talked about this like weeks ago. Like, not that it needs to be the most exciting thing ever, but like you want to see progress. Like, actually, the number one thing I probably asked almost everybody that joined the company is like, what's something that drives you? And they say, results. Like, yeah, no shit. Okay. So it's one of those things where it's like, that is the thing that's going to drive you. And if you're on a program that is not getting you effort and you're working your butt off and you feel that the effort's there and you're making baby increments, right? You either have to have patience of a saint or you're just probably going to like take your foot off the gas. And conjugate is a method that allows you to have a little more fun, at least for me. It changes things up. It's the variety. We're in this era where people get bored quick. I'm that person too, super ADHD. So if I do the same thing for 8 weeks, I'm like, dude, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Okay. So there's some variation. And the thing about conjugate is, like you said, it feels random, but it's not, like if you're programmed right. And not that you can't program it on your own, but it's not as simple as like, here's this PDF, go have fun. And I know Mike has tried that. People are like, what do I do? Like it is more confusing. And that's why at least getting coaching on these concepts over an extended period of time is super valuable. But coaching is something where like, where's your standards at, right? Because like Olympic weightlifters have coaches, everybody has coaches. And I think it's important to just show that like, I think all the coaches in here do a really good job. And you, Mike, specifically of like moving the goalposts a little bit, right? And that's important. And that's what is going to honestly keep you like in the gym. Like every time I see Mike post stuff, he's just getting stronger. You know what I mean? How motivating, right? Just getting better.
Why would I want to go the other way?
Yeah, but I'm saying like that's not everybody's story, right? And honestly, like I had years where I was making body composition changes, but I wasn't really getting stronger. I wasn't really focusing on my mobility. Then I got bored straight up. I'm like, I look as good as I want to look. I really don't desire to be any bigger or any more shredded. Like I'm pretty happy. I'm actually satisfied. I don't really, it'd be kind of nice to have, I guess, bigger arms. But other than that, like I'm pretty happy. What else do I work on? I'm not just like, well, this is it. No, I sit there and I'm like, all right, now my mobility. Hey, now I'm going to work on, this thing. And I have injuries. I'm beat up like everybody else. So, hey, I'm really going to work on, ironing up my groin so it doesn't get hurt again. And that's not my whole program, but I'm kind of dialing things in as I go. So it's exciting to hear that everybody else is making like really good progress and it's not just like one dimensional because you never know what you're going to get in at work. And the injuries happen from the stupidest things. I know, like I partially tore my groin from jumping on a log when I proposed to my wife for pictures like 10 years ago, and it still hurts. I bulletproofed it as much as I can, but like what a dumb ass injury. Like seriously, out of all the things I do, that's it. But also if I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, I never trained my adductors. Like no wonder, right? It was like huge chink in the armor. I never thought about it. I thought that was what girls did, right? Like on a thigh machine. I didn't know. And then I was like, oh, Copenhagen planks and all these things that I should have been doing. And that's why like following these programs, they're good until they're not. They're good until they break. They're good until you get hurt. They're good until you tear your rotator cuff, or throw out your back or whatever. And some injuries are inevitable, but like, you have jobs which, I can imagine like, especially as like a copper firefighter, dude, like something falls. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. And so your body needs to kind of train in like some isometrics, some, 1 rep maxes, some volume training. Like you do need to kind of do it all.
And also like think about how easy it is like when you do a system like this to just remove one thing and add another. So like for example, like I wouldn't say I'm injured right now, but like my shoulder is like 97%, not 100. So I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna be a dumbass because I want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm gonna remove the max effort method from my upper body day, and I'm going to replace it with volume. So the only thing that changes is my rep scheme on one exercise. I can still do the variations and change it up so that my shoulder hits different angles and I'm not like, like furthering the injury. But it's something as simple as that. I don't have to quit my whole plan now. And that's what people do. They'll like be on this plan and the plan will say like this specific rep scheme or something. And then they get hurt and they're like, oh, the whole thing's gone now. It's like, no, you just adapt. You make one small, subtle change. Or, hey, you need more muscle mass. You know what I mean? We've tapped you out neurologically. You're like the strongest you could be at your frame. Let's put on more muscle. So it's always changing and it's always responding to that individual person's goals. So like if I ran a group fitness with like everyone in here right now and we just decided we're all gonna box squat to a 12-inch box or something, right? After we're done, I'd be like, hey, you have weak glutes. You, go over there. You're gonna hip thrust. You guys, glutes are fine. Your quads are shit. Go build your quads. Like it's, I use cars a lot, but like if your car had a bad control arm or suspension for people that aren't into cars, right? Your suspension was jacked up and you're trying to hit a land speed record, right? What do people do? They're like, oh, I'm just going to add more. I'll put a supercharger on there. We'll make the car go faster. I'm like, yeah, but when you do go faster, you're going to destroy, like the whole car is going to fall apart because you have that one issue. Why don't you just fix the issue? And then you'll go faster by default because you fixed the problem. So like building onto a broken frame is a horrible idea, and that's what people do. Like I have one injury, so I'm just going to avoid everything now. No, you should be going after that injury and trying to repair it. And hey, I know you don't like your calves or whatever, but like that's your weakness right now. So like let's focus on that. But people like to avoid rather than go after their problems. All right, someone tell a story.
Yeah, the gym is always going to be harder. Just depends on which way it's going to be harder. It
Yeah,
never gets easy.
yeah. Do you want to be like broken and like feel like absolute crap, or just your biggest problem is just overcoming a plateau?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit because, like, for me, if you guys don't know, I've had like a couple of really serious injuries in my life. Like, my first one was when I was in the military doing MMA, and I like completely tore my knee. And it's like it's mostly better, but it's this lingering thing where now I'm having like knee stuff, and I got to get these gel injections. And some injuries are bad. They're not just like these little like bumps and bruises or things that might last you 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, but you can get it better. And I've been training what I would consider like pretty severely injured for actually 6 years straight. In 2019, I had a disc tear in my back, L5S1, and it says it was partial. Like my disc didn't completely rupture, but like pretty close. And I have back pain literally every day of my life, every single day. And you're like, well, how do you keep training? I train my back actually once or twice a week, and I do a bunch of different stuff on it. Um, but it's one of those things where like I just have to be smart to train around it, but I'm not avoiding my back. In fact, I'm trying to get it better. And like my QL tightens up, like my left QL, which is kind of a hard spot. I dig a lacrosse ball in there. I sit in the sauna, I stretch it out. Like I get it to the point where I can keep training it and at least keeping it strong. And honestly, like my back has gotten substantially better, but it was a really bad injury. And I've done all the things. I've done like PRP, I've done like dry needling. Like I'm not like, oh, my back's hurt, so I'm not doing back stuff or I'm not doing squats. And there are some movements that I still inherently don't like doing. Like I'm not a back squat person with a straight barbell. It is, I can, I feel sketchy. I also have pretty bad butt wink, which can come from ankle mobility, but when you squat, your butt kind of tucks under and that bugs it. So I bought a belt squat in my garage. I learned to train around it. I can lunge with no pain. So I load up my single leg movements. I can do the leg press. I could do leg extensions. I can do stair stepper. And I would say I'm still very fit. Like I could go mountain bike right now. I could run. It would not be great on my knee, but like I could still train and keep my body like pretty good around it. But I'm not avoiding my back. I'm actually trying to strengthen it. And the other little like bumps and bruises, like my groin and stuff, I do Copenhagen planks, like ISOs and extensions, and like I have this one of those like Swiss balls. I do a lot of different things every week, and I could tell you that the more I dial it in, the less likely I feel like it's going to get injured. And I haven't had a re-injury. So Mike's right. Like you need to bulletproof those things. And I just know that like, in order for me to get stronger, I have to fix the weak link. Right. But I know some people in this community have injuries that aren't just like, oh, my shoulder's bothering me. They're like, serious things. And I promise you, like, you can train around that injury and you can get it better. And like I'm hoping that I don't have to keep dealing with the same amount of pain. And it has gotten better. But the reality is sometimes I overdo it, right? And I'm like, oh, that was too much. And that's why you also have to have a program that's like a little moldable and adaptable. And the assessment, like, no, I don't fill out a form every week, but sure as hell that I assess, like, how's my back? How's my recovery? Like, I did that much volume. Why are my hamstrings so sore? Wow, they're really undertrained and underdeveloped. Like, I'm taking these internal cues for myself all the time. And like 3 weeks ago, I was loading up my back lunge, and guess what? I felt a little twinge in my groin, and I was like, ooh, it's still weaker than I need. That was like, I could have done more. I could have lunged way, way more, but that was that chink in the armor. And I go, okay, back to training it, back to bulletproofing it, because that's just going to be the thing that breaks down. So now in this upcoming phase, like, I'm focusing on continuing to strengthen my groin and continuing to get more flexibility and like just bulletproofing it. So now when I go back to lunges, like, I know my glutes are super strong and my quads are really developed. It would be nice to go train that more, but like, I need to train the weak link. So
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, hey guys, send me form videos on compound lifts. Like, yeah, cool. You want to send me a video doing bicep curls? Have fun. I might be able to get you from like a 97 to 100 on form, but like the compound lifts, heavy weight form breakdown, I will tell you what is broken and what is not just by watching you do it, Or and for example, like, John or Guts in the chat, pulled 585 deficit conventional yesterday at 178, right? Watch the form video. Form looked great, but I saw what the weakest link was in the chain, and now what looks like a random exercise switch for the next phase will be purposeful because we're fixing something that that is evident when you see them under heavy weight. All right. Now, if you're only doing the bar, how do you know what's weak? And that's a big problem too, is that people don't train hard enough or have someone watching them. All right. That was pretty much most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Does anyone have any questions or any other topics that you want us to touch upon? Doug?
I don't have anything.
Sean, what are you painting? You painting your basement gym?
Yep.
Let's go, dude. I painted mine black. So I thought it
It's
would be
too
cool.
dark.
Dude, okay, so little story. We'll go off total topic. Be fun. So when I set up my old home gym, it was like a 2-car garage with, and I made it like a gray. It was like, I don't have anything. Let me see if I have something close to it. It was like, anyways, it was like a light gray. I'll post some pictures. There was like a really light gray, and then I did like a black stripe, and I was like, it's like not is like cool, and I had some lights, and then when I was scrolling through Instagram doing my gym, I came across this guy that like they design gyms, like home gyms for like super rich people. So I did not sign up for that. But I was like, I'm just gonna copy this idea, and it was like all black with the hexagon lighting. It's kind of like the thing right now with people doing their gyms, and it looks cool, but then like it is too dark. And I will say that a gym that's too dark doesn't make me want to train there. And I know that sounds weird,
That's
but
why I didn't go black.
dude, I've experienced that firsthand. Like I have like the hexagon LEDs and it's really bright, but then the rest of my gym, I just ordered 2 lights on Amazon to get there. If it's not like super bright, I always wonder, like when I go to the gym, I just feel like more awake. And I have pretty tall ceilings too. So it's like open. It's just bright. Like it's just so light in there. And there was a guy that was like looking in my garage the other day, it was open. He's like, oh, there's a gym in there. I was like, bro, like it's so dark. So I am contemplating doing 2 things. I saw one guy that put it just changes it up. He put like this natural, like that natural wood, like panels. It looked pretty sick with the black. And it did kind of like lighten it up a little bit. He put it on the ceiling and on one accent wall. But I'm also thinking about like just painting it a little bit lighter. And I don't know what I should do. It wasn't that much. It
incandescent
was like
bulb.
$1,000. It's a big garage. Like it was a steal. It was like some random dudes off Facebook Marketplace. But like now that I have everything up, I'm like, do I want to repaint it?
I would do no LEDs and just do incandescent yellow lights from like the 1800s.
Dude,
It'd be awesome. You get some good footage there.
my wife hates the light. She's like, it's so bright. And I'm like, dude, it's, and I have like the garage lights, but then I bought those, you ever see the ones that you can screw with the bulbs and they have like 5 panels?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
crazy.
but a garage, the only light I have that's like a bulb light is in the garage door thing, the motor. And so I was going to buy this extension. I'm like, dude, I'm just going to buy 2 of those lights. They have like hanging ones. And so I'll send you pictures. I think it's going to like brighten up the area because the dumbbells, it's bright. I feel good. As soon as I move over to to like the sauna, like treadmill area, like squat rack, I'm like, dude, it's so dark in here. So you made a good move not going black, sir.
Yep. That's why I didn't.
He's also
What
got
color is that? Like a bluish gray?
Yeah.
He's also got an awesome Smith machine he just got too.
Dude.
It is now better. His gym is now better than a Planet Fitness.
Yes. Because theirs have like the crappy angled, terrible ones.
Yeah, it's like
I'm almost gonna pull the trigger. Like I was actually gonna sell my my Rogue. So I have like a drop-in Rhino. So it's like a half rack basically with a drop-in Rhino. And I have the full rack too, but I just took the other posts off. And I also have like a full commercial functional trainer. But I'm like, why do I have both? So I think I'm gonna sell both of them, and then I'm gonna get the Aries from Rep Fitness. I don't know if you guys follow Rep at all. Yeah, I was gonna get the Aries because you could do like the low row, you could do the lat pull down, plus you can get the Smith machine attachment. Rep has like a sick one now, so it's like a functional trainer, the low row, the lat pull down, the squat rack. It's like everything all in one, and it just gives me more free space. So that might be like my next gym purchase. It's a hobby, like guys buy guns and all that, and I do like gym stuff. So
allegedly.
allegedly,
Yeah.
sometimes I work out.
I'm getting a new gun for Christmas. I haven't bought one in a long time, but
What shotgun do you think I should get? Because like I know you helped me build my AR and
Remington 870, tried and true.
Okay.
Hard to
Yeah,
go
but
wrong there.
they have like the
Mossberg
cool
590.
A what?
Yeah, yep, Mossberg's good too. Yeah,
Or Benelli M4.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to be
Benelli's-
John Wick.
Yeah. Benelli's where the money is.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
But if you get a Remington 870 like tactical or the Marine one is cool too. It's like a chrome looking thing. I don't know. It's cool. It's like polished.
If you want semi-auto, the Remington 1100 is pretty good too.
Yep. Yep. My family has like 3 870s. I've shot them like since we got the black tactical, and our brother's got the one with the shell holder on the side. Like looks like a SWAT gun. But just don't get the hunting one. Like in Arizona, if you're gonna use it for home defense, get the one with the extended magazine tube that holds 7 instead of 5 or 4. I think it's 5.
Yeah, I think I would do
7-1.
hunting. My friend wanted to do like bird hunting, and I went with him like a while ago, and that's what
So
I did.
if you're going to do that, make sure you don't get like iron sights on it. Get the one that has 2 beads on it. It's a bead at the front and a bead at the back. I used to do a bunch of trap shooting and hunting. The iron sights make trying to track like a bird way more difficult.
Yep.
You want to get one that's built for hunting.
Jordan told me he's going to sell me his bow, so maybe I'll take bow hunting up.
Yeah, him and my brother are always upgrading. Like every year, like I'm buying the newer one. I'm like, yeah, just give me something old that like works. I don't care for bows. I'm not a big bow guy. But.
Josh, I want to see, dude, after all this time, I've still never seen a picture of your gym. I've like seen you in it, but I've never actually seen your setup because you had it in your garage, but you moved it to your basement, right?
Me? No,
Yeah.
it's still in my garage. The only thing
What
I
did
did
you
in my
move to your
basement is
basement?
I built it's a sauna, a cold plunge, my treadmill, and the Peloton bike.
Oh, so you put like the cardio recovery stuff down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, the garage is still the gym.
Did you build your sauna?
No, I bought a kit, but it was like considerably cheaper. And then I just had to put it together. So it wasn't like I didn't just design it and build it. It came as a kit for like $2,000.
Yeah. Dude, I got a
That's
steal on
huge.
mine. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's a 6 or 7 person or something like that. I don't know.
Dang. Mine's a 4-person barrel, and when I'm in there on my own, I'm like, but my wife's cleared to like go back. I think actually this is the first time she's gonna go in it because I got it right when she got pregnant, and she's like, that sucks, huh? I don't know what to tell you. And then so I've just been solo sauna for like 10 months. But I actually bought it for us to just like put the kids to bed and then just like no phones. We'll just sit down and just hate each other in there.
We can go in the sauna and not touch each other, which was kind of the just
Yeah, like it's
she
not tiny. Yeah, we
I
had like the infrared one and we were literally like this and no. I bought it and then like 3
I
weeks
sweat
later.
I sweat too much. My wife wants nothing to do sitting next to me
Yeah.
in the sauna. So
Yeah. Dude, the barrel's nice. I didn't like think this was going to be a thing, but it's like it's not cold at the bottom, but you can have your phone at the bottom sitting down and it won't overheat at 170 degrees. Just the way it's designed because all the heat
yeah,
goes up towards the barrel. And so like I don't know, it's kind of a
I
cool.
take my phone and a speaker in there and everything.
Yeah.
So
How
yeah,
hot does yours get?
usually about 180 to 190.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna get one of those like I think they're called like God, what's the Hume or whatever? They're like the nicer heaters, and they go to like 210. I was like, I don't know if I can handle that though. But they're like hot, hot. They're
I've
the bougie
gotten it
ones.
up to I've gotten it a little over 200, but you don't sit in there for very long for that.
No, that sounds terrible. My dad's like, why would you get a sauna in Arizona? And I'm like, it's different, bro. Like it's
The
it's
dry heat.
well, yeah, it's
Go
like
in
you
the
put the
shed.
yeah, that's basically what he said. But I'm like, it's also cold for 5 months. Like right now, the sauna's awesome. Well,
Cold.
it's yeah, it's cold.
Let's
It's like
let's
50
let's
degrees,
put that
dude.
into perspective. 53. All right.
I got my
It was
jacket
a
on and it's
solid
71
16
in
here
here.
today. It was a solid 16 here today. So
660?
16.
Oh, 16. No, we don't.
Yeah,
No, we can't do
1-6.
that. No, no, thanks. We don't do that.
17.
17? Oh,
See?
it's hot over where Sean is. Yeah. No, I keep telling myself I want to do the cold. I went up north and it was like it was 32 degrees and then I took my son out and he was like wants to ride his little bike. And then I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I want to ride it. And then as soon as we went on, we got down the hill. He's like, too cold, too cold. I carried him back. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can do this. I think I'm too soft for the cold. No, I actually, I love the cold, but like Northern Arizona cold, not like East Coast cold. So yeah.
What you get? 35?
Yeah, like 30s, 40s, you
That's
know.
not cold.
Uh,
No, when I lived in Nebraska, 2 to 4 days a year, we would have school canceled because the wind chill was -40.
yeah. They
There was no snow on the ground. They would cancel school for temperature.
Dude, yeah, I went to Thanksgiving, like Friendsgiving thing with this guy that works in the oil fields, and I forget where he said he was, and he's like, we'd work in negative 60, 60, and he's like, we would only be able to work for 15 minutes at a time, and we'd get in a truck and we'd have to like take turns. I'm like, oh my, I don't even remotely know what that is. I don't want to know. Like, the hottest I've worked in was when we were in IUD, and it was like 138, and that was like bad. That was terrible.
Yeah, trap shooting season in high school started in January in Nebraska, and it's flat. So it's just straight wind, and
Yeah.
you're standing there with a shotgun in the middle of cornfields. Like we would literally shoot our round of 25, and your hands would be so cold that when you heated them up in the truck, it would hurt as the blood flow came back in.
Yeah, but no. Why? Why would you live there? For the corn?
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice pace of life.
Yeah,
Corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes your chick good frisky.
basically.
Indeed.
I got to put up Christmas lights still. My wife's pissed.
Yeah, we've been focusing on the baby. I'm not saying a word about it.
Yeah. You're like,
Good
I'm on a
call.
call. Well, no, so I was gonna do it. And
I
then
had
we went
the
up
I
north.
had the cast, so I couldn't do any of that, and
Yeah.
it made it mint. But as
I
soon
told
as
her,
I
I was
got
like,
the cast off yesterday, she was like, "Oh, I got the hooks ready." I was like,
yeah. I was smart. So last year, well, like, we were living in this HOA thing. So they're like, you can't put certain things up. But I put like these little screw, they're just like a what are they called? Like, I can't think of the name of them, but anyways, they're these hooks with these little brackets on them, and I've kept them up all year. They didn't say anything, and they like blend in with the house. So this year will be a lot easier because last year was our first year in this house. So I just literally have to go just hang them, put these wreaths up, and I'm done, and then do the Christmas tree tonight. And I promised her they'd be done Monday, and I'm a terrible husband and father because they're not done. And it was on my calendar, by the way, but I had a call that went late, and then it was pitch black out at 6. So I have like 30 minutes to go do it right now. Fun stuff. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate you jumping on. We love you guys. Any last questions? Anybody want to make fun of one of the coaches before we leave?
Yeah. Who built the pyramids?
It's a good question.
Giants.
Giants or aliens for sure.
Or both.
Yeah.
Or
the aliens
giants,
were telling-
aliens.
The aliens were telling the giants, which were bossing around the Egyptians to build the
Or
pyramids.
the aliens made the giants.
Like created them?
No, giants are the creation of aliens mating with humans.
Bingo.
Okay.
John gets it.
Funny.
That's a theory. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right,
And
y'all.
it
Well,
says
thanks.
6, baby.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
So-
Thank you.
All right.
Adios.
See y'all.
See ya.
Bye.